Hello students, welcome to the next lecture. Today we are going to start the first chapter of NCERT Class 10th History, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. This chapter is going to deal with the formation of nation states in Europe. The chapter begins with a very interesting figure which reads, Dream of Worldwide Social and Democratic Republic. In this figure you can see men and women of various social classes are marching in a long train and they are offering homage to a statue. And this is the Statue of Liberty, which is quite famous all over the world. And this statue is holding a torch of enlightenment in one hand and the Charter of Rights of Man in the other. On the earth lie the shattered remains of absolutist monarchies. And at the top you can see angels, Christ and saints are gazing upon the scene, and they are symbolizing fraternity among the nations. So the people marching in this long train actually belong to various nations of Europe. At the beginning you have Switzerland and USA. Then following is the people of German nation, which are being symbolized by the German flag of liberal hopes, which is black, red and golden in color. So we saw men and women of all ages are offering homage to Statue of Liberty. Then we saw that she is holding Torch of Enlightenment in one hand and Charter of Rights of Man in the other. And on the earth we saw the shattered remains of absolutist institutions. Now what are absolutist institutions? Absolutist refers to a form of monarchical government that is centralized, militarized and repressive. This can be asked for 1 mark. What do you mean by absolutist institutions, or what do you mean by absolutist? So you can define this in this way. Then we saw Christ, saints and angels gaze upon the scene, and they are symbolizing fraternity among the nations. So who prepared this beautiful image? In 1848, a French artist named Frédéric Soriot prepared a series of 4 prints. Actually, he prepared 4 prints visualizing his dream of a world made up of social and democratic republic. So actually he wanted all the territories of Europe to get transformed into nation states and form a social and democratic republic. So in order to spread his idea, he prepared 4 prints visualizing his dream. And one of the prints is what we saw at the beginning of the chapter. So actually this was a utopian vision of Frédéric Soriot. Now what do you mean by utopian? A vision of society that is so ideal that it is unlikely to exist. So the idea that Frédéric Soriot was going to represent by this image was a utopian idea. It was so ideal and so right that it was unlikely to exist. So we studied about this image in order to get a view of the formation of nation states in Europe. It was in great demand of public that the territories should be converted into nation states. So the ideas of revolutionaries and liberals came together to form nation states all over Europe. For example, we have France. About the French Revolution, we read last year in 9th standard, the French Revolution, the first chapter. So in the first chapter, we dealt with many measures and practices which were adopted by French revolutionaries to create a sense of collective identity. Now, what do we actually mean by nation states? A nation means an area or people who are sharing some collective identity and they are sharing a common history or past. They belong to the same nation. So in order to build nation states, the revolutionaries and liberals wanted to create a sense of collective identity among the people of their own territory. So they adopted several measures and practices to bring this sense of collective identity among their people. So this is a very important question, and this is the first subtopic of your textbook, French Revolution and the Idea of the Nation. And from this chapter, this is the most frequently asked question for 5 marks, or it can even be asked for 3 marks. So this is the most frequently asked question from this chapter. What are the measures and practices adopted by French revolutionaries to create a sense of collective identity? You can label any 5 or 3 points which are labeled below. So let's see what were the measures and practices. The first one is idea of la patrie, the fatherland, and les citoyens, the citizen, was spread in order to bring the people together and to give them an idea that people will be given equal opportunities and they will be treated equally in the nation. So the idea of la patrie stands for the fatherland and les citoyens stands for the citizen. These are the words of French language. So these ideas were spread. The next thing to create a sense of collective identity was a new French flag. This was the new French flag that was chosen to replace the royal standard. So in order to create nation states, the revolutionaries will have to bring down the reputation of the royal standard that was ruling France since ages. So to replace the royal standard, they selected a new French flag to create a sense of collective identity. The next thing was Estates General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. We read last year that the parliament that was working under Louis XVI, the ruler of France was Louis XVI. All this we have read last year only. So Estates General was the parliament it was a sort of parliament that was working under Louis XVI. So when the people wanted to create a sense of collective identity, they re-elected the Estates General by the body of active citizens and renamed the Estates General as National Assembly. Then new hymns were composed, oaths were taken, and martyrs were commemorated, all in the name of the nation. Some other steps were centralized administrative system was put in place, which formulated uniform laws for all citizens. It means all category of citizens. You might remember that the society was divided into clergy, nobility, and the third estate, which included some common people. So this centralized administrative system was going to be uniform for all the members of, of the French society. Then internal customs, duties and dues were abolished and uniform system of weights and measures was adopted. And this uniform system of weights and measures was going to be very useful and helpful for the businessmen who were working in the the territory of France. Regional dialects were discouraged and French became the common language of the nation. Language also played a very important role to create a sense of collective belonging among the people. So these were the various steps undertaken by revolutionaries to create a sense of collective identity. And this is one of the most important question. Again, I'm telling that this is the one of the most important question from this chapter, which is going to be asked for 5 marks. Now let's move forward to Napoleonic Code. You might remember that when we finished the chapter of French Revolution last year, we left at the ruler Napoleon Bonaparte. So Napoleon, after he became ruler, he set about introducing many of the reforms that he had already introduced in France. So he was the ruler of France and he was already undertaking many measures to develop the society of France. And slowly he tried to control all the other territories of Europe, and he even started introducing his new measures in the other parts as well. So though he destroyed the democracy in France, as he was a dictator of France, he completely destroyed the democracy. But when we talk about his administrative skills, in the administrative field, he had incorporated really some very important and some revolutionary principles to make the whole system more rational and efficient. So the methods and his way of doing administration was really well, and he was trying to make the system more rational and efficient. Now let's see what were the actions or what were some of his policies that he laid down to make his administrative system more efficient. The first one and the most important of Napoleon is the Civil Code of 1804, or which is generally known as the Napoleonic Code. Now, what was this Napoleonic Code? By enactment of this law, he did away with all the privileges based on birth. You'll remember that clergy, nobility, and third estate. In all these three categories, the clergy and nobility enjoyed certain privileges by birth. So this code of 1804, this was enacted in 1804, it did away with all the privileges based on birth. Then he also established equality before the law, and then he secured the right to property to each and every citizen. And slowly, as his territories began to expand, he also controlled several other parts of Europe. And there also he enacted several other laws. He simplified the administrative divisions. He abolished feudal system, freed peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. Guild restrictions were removed. Transport and communication system were improved. So when the transport and communication system improved, this was really helpful for all the businessmen working in Europe, because their trade and their exchange of goods and their currencies became more easier. So this question can also be asked for 3 marks. What do you mean by Napoleonic Code or Civil Code? Or you can even be asked for 5 marks to explain this Civil Code or Napoleonic Code. But most of the time, I think it can be asked for 3 marks. So as his territories began to expand, people thought of him like as if he was trying to evade their territories and was snatching their freedom. So there was a lot of resentment against France and Napoleon. As Napoleon was the ruler of France, so the other countries of Europe generated resentment in their minds against France and Napoleon. What were the reasons for this resentment? They thought of Napoleon as he was trying to snatch away their political freedom. They felt a loss of political freedom. Then increased taxes. Napoleon was continuously increasing taxes. Then censorship of news and views. And then forced conscription into French army to fight wars. As Napoleon was trying to increase his army and the strength of his army, he wanted more and more members to join the army. So he was forcing the other people of Europe to join the French army to fight wars. So this was one of the reasons why people had resentment against France and Napoleon. Now let's see a few questions that can be asked from this much part of the chapter. First question, this is a 1 mark question, MCQ. You should remember that in board exams the pattern has changed, that in first section of your question paper of social science you will have 20 questions for 1 mark, and among them you will also have MCQ. You can have fill in the blanks, they can ask you true or false, or you can be asked to correct the statement. So you should have a strong control over your complete knowledge of NCERT, and each and every line should be read very well. Only then you can complete all the 20 questions and get 20 marks from the first section of the question paper. So let's see the first question. What was the Napoleonic Code usually known as? This was the code of 1804. We read this in this previous slide. The Civil Code of 1804. So option C is your correct option. Next question. This is also an MCQ of 1 mark. What do saints, angels, and Christ symbolize in the utopian vision? What was our utopian vision? The figure that was prepared by Frederick Sorio. The figure that was prepared by Frederick Sorio. This we read in the beginning of the chapter. So the question is that what are these crests, angels, and symbols are trying to represent? We read this that they symbolize fraternity among the nations. So the answer to this question is going to be fraternity. Fraternity among nations. Next question, fill in the blanks for 1 mark. The first clear expression of nationalism came with. The first country that started the idea of nationalism in Europe was, yes, the French Revolution. We started the nationalism idea was spread by France. So the first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution. The answer to this question is going to be French Revolution. The term absolutist, now you have another question of true and false. This is also for 1 mark. The term absolutist referred to monarchical government. Yes, this is true. Monarchical government stands for absolutist stands for a form of monarchical government which is centralized and repressive. So this was your second question. The next one is also for 1 mark. One word answer. To which country did the artist Frederic Soriot belong? Yes, the answer is France, because he was a French artist, so he belonged to France. Frederic Soriot belonged to France. Next question. This is also for 1 mark. What was the main aim of French revolutionaries? The main aim of French revolutionary was to transfer monarchy into democracy. Then, what was the main aim of revolutionaries of Europe during the years following 1815? So after the year 1815, the main aim of revolutionary was to create nation states. So this can be the answer to your question. Next question. This is for 3 marks. As I told before explaining the Napoleonic Code, that this question can be asked for 3 marks. What changes did Napoleon introduce to make the administrative system more efficient in the territories ruled by him? So you have to explain the Napoleonic Code or the Civil Code of 1804 that we discussed. And if you and even if you label any 3 measures that were undertaken by him, or you can even label more of them, you can get 3 marks for this question. Next question you have for 5 marks. This also I labeled you before starting the topic of French Revolution and the idea of sense of collective belonging. What steps did the French revolutionaries take to create a sense of collective identity among the French people? Or the same question can be asked in another way, that is, analyze the measures or practices that created a sense of collective identity amongst the French people. So the question is same, but the way of asking or the pattern of question is different. So both the questions have the same answer of the measures that were undertaken by French revolutionaries. We have discussed all of them. So you can label any 5 points and you can get 5 marks for this question also. So this was our today's topic, first subtopic of the chapter, Nationalism in Europe. We'll continue the chapter in the next part of this video. Thank you.